Well, hey now. Hey, everybody. Let's see. Working on my start video skills and how this comes together. Now I understand a lot more about what people are doing when they're streaming. It's what happens when you try to do it yourself. All right, checking out the YouTubes. See if anybody's watching. All right, looks like at least one person's come on in. I got a like. I like that. Thank you. Um, all right, so we're going to talk about racetracks today, or race charts, really. No, not race as in race, but as in a chart that shows how people take position within the system. This is pretty cool. I, it's hard to show them all because we have so many different staking addresses, so you can't show them all on one screen. So I've created some charts to play around with that will show us the top 25 um, by a couple of the different classifications and how they've taken and lost position over 3 years. This is kind of a fun little project to work on. So let's go ahead and switch that and get this geared up, which means let me drop this. Get a full screen mode at the video. And let's go ahead and kick this off. I built some time delays into this so that there's time to actually look at what's on the screen um, while people are while it's playing. So it runs about 3 minutes per, but they can go faster and slower as we go along. And you can see it's already started kicking in. Starts with the showing the year up in the top right. And then you can start to see the different wallets take position. So let me reset that so we get a good full screen of this. Bring it down in size a little bit. So we know that stakers have, when they stake, they're assigned a certain number of T-shares, and those T-shares determine how much yield they get within the system. Then when they end a stake, those T-shares get subtracted, and then when they restake, they get added. So what's interesting about watching this is you can see some of the wallets in the different in the different categories really hold on and then restake as they go along. This is up to date as of today, and it does automatically update. So you can see like their top position 17C5 coming up to 9,814 T-shares in 2020. A lot of these you won't see a lot of big changes because the people are staked very, very long. I'll try to locate some additional software that might be helpful with doing this. I think there's some pretty cool analysis we might be able to get into too. I know we all hear the dolphins, and that's what we're looking at right now, or alleged dolphins. They're all selling and they're all dropping out, and some have for sure. Some have for sure. But the near as I can tell, the top 25 wallets stayed pretty consistent within the dolphin sphere over the 3 years, and you can kind of see that with us. There are a few that you see just drop off, and maybe they don't come back because they don't restake. Maybe they took profits, whatever might be the case. But then others just stay solid. For instance, you can see CEC there, the number 2 spot coming up. 7C5 decided to add to their position, and they're coming up. Now, for fun, I set the 100K and up chart to Freddie Quote's music. and kind of coordinated that with a separate video that's kind of cool to watch and see the top positions. And so this is, for those who might be new to the HEXFire, what we're seeing here is, as you go to restake, you don't always have enough HEX to restake for the same number of T-shares. You might have enough HEX to restake and, get more in some cases, but most cases not, right? Because that's because the system is set up that way. It's set up so that when you go to restake, if you were to restake all of your principal and all of your yield for the same number of days, you'll get less T-shares. And so it affects that. So I thought this was a little fun thing to get out there and show people. I do see a few people watching. If you have any questions, throw them in chat. I'll give it a moment for it to catch up, and then I can respond. How about that? Good news for those who might have watched previous videos. I figured out a little bit more about my video settings. Being able to get those set up correctly. There's a lot more to this than maybe it seems when people get on stream. I mean, yes, I totally get why people just wing it, right? Because it's a lot easier just to push the button and start talking than it is to try to prepare a whole bunch of material and information. All right, let's go check for any questions. I don't see any questions here. Like I said, this was just a fun way to get something out for folks. Let's see if we can take a look at what's going on at the T-share rate over at HEXFire. Dangerous, I bet. There's that one. Oh yeah, here's another one we could be looking at. Nope, that one's not up yet. Okay, so I'll have to stick to what I was doing. Yeah, so if you guys have any questions or comments, go ahead and throw them in the chat. You can reach me over at the Patreon. I'd appreciate it if you like the content, you head on over and consider joining. I'm trying to get some new things up and running there to support while keeping the original site up, and I should talk about that. So the original HEXFire site is still up and running. And you can get to that by going to hexfire.io. Let me head over there. All right, let's head over to that site real quick. It always reloads the current data. This one's on a 4-hour refresh, which is different than the data warehouse stuff that I've gotten up and running. The data warehouse items, they're doing an hourly update, which is pretty cool. Might be able to go to half an hour to be able to do that. So over here at the T-shares, yeah, looks like we're still coming up. We're beginning to track those lines pretty good. Based on feedback from the community about what are the basic things that people need within HEXFire. I've got the staking data, the share rate chart up, Hex Daily stat charts. I like that one because you can look at all the different elements from Hex Daily stats. The Maximus DAO link, and then the Hadron Nicosia link. and you can dig into it that way. So I'm hoping to get this parked soon into steady state, so that people can come to this and use it as necessary. And then for the more advanced analytics, I'm going with a new site that's going to really expand the capabilities. This thing was all set up specifically to be able to provide access without licenses. And eventually what I hit is a barrier in that there's just only so much data and throughput Microsoft will allow me to put through. And so, yeah, so that's what ended up happening with that. So while you're here, hit like, subscribe if you haven't subscribed before. And again, thanks guys, and thanks for all the Patreon folks. I've got a little community going. It's starting. It'll take some time, these things, but it's part of having to get out and do videos and whatnot. If you don't continuously ask and promote, you don't see that people will join. So I do appreciate you guys and for joining. And again, leave any comments, questions, suggestions, and I'll get back to you. Now I see. Now I see. Let's see a couple messages coming in. Yeah, hey, Bonafox, I don't know how to actually show your question yet. To work on that. To put it up on the channel. Maybe it's a pin message. Well, I don't see that. I see it over in the pinned, but I don't see it over on the screen. You know, each of the softwares do different things. I do have the access to the communist data, so I will be working on that, putting that together. I just haven't gotten to it this week, but I will, and we'll add that into HEXFire as well. And then, hey, welcome Hex in SB. Appreciate you joining, and we'll see everybody later.